this person as an entertainer, as an entrepreneur, as a type 1 diabetic, but many of you don't. He is an American entrepreneur, a record executive, a film producer, a director, an actor. He's co-founder of Rockefeller Records, chairman of the streaming platform Dame Dash Studios. He has been involved in the art world, the gallery space, and is really solidified as one of the premier American moguls that you can imagine. He's, I'm going to say, a close friend. And he and I struggle together with both managing our diabetes, as well as running businesses and engaging, the marketplace. And so I've really, counted on Dame quite a bit for advice over the years, and he's been invaluable to me. We also have a partnership in terms of, One Drop. Dame's a One Drop user. He's been a One Drop user for several years now, and has been an ardent promoter of our offerings. And anyway, I couldn't be prouder to introduce him to the company. My dog is in the background. Sorry. We have been celebrating Black History Month for the last month, and when Julia asked me, and Julia waved, when Julia asked me if we had any ideas or if we could talk to Dame, I reached out, and literally instantaneously in 1 second I got a response that was like, of course, set it up. And so with that, I think Julia reached out, and Dame's here today to talk about the trials and tribulations of growing, up with diabetes and being a businessman with diabetes, and the experiences that he's had over the last years to talk about all that. Julia, I don't know if you want to add anything, but I need to welcome Dame and just say, thank you so much for talking to the company.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that, Jeff. That was a great intro.
Jeff, thank you for leading us off, and thank you for securing Dame. Dame, thank you for taking the time to connect with us and share your story. Just a few housekeeping tips before we get started. Team, your audio will remain muted throughout the call, but still, it will be a very fun and interactive call. I will serve as the moderator throughout the event. Any questions or any additional questions that you have for Dame, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will address them accordingly. Dame, like Jeff mentioned, I'm Julia. I'm a recruiter here at One Job, also heading up diversity, equity, and inclusion. In light of Black History Month, we wanted to celebrate you as a Black male entrepreneur in the industry, and then also as an influencer for One Job. We would love to be able to for you to be able to share your story with us about how you overcame adversity with being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at a young age, and then fast forward to today, how you manage your chronic condition as a hip hop icon. So with that said, we have a few questions that the team and I created together that we wanted for us to all to discuss. And team, if you have any additional questions for Dame, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will address them accordingly. So to kick us off, OG of diabetes. Can you tell us why you refer to yourself as the OG of diabetes?
I mean, I've had it for a while. Since I was 15, I'm 49. And, throughout the years, I've noticed that people that have it look at it so much as a weakness, they don't speak on it or address it. So I think I'm the first person that really has owned it and has been proud to have it and proud to teach about how to control it, So that's really why. I don't think I'm the best at it. I think Jeff is probably the OG. He got his A1 is always better than mine. So I'm definitely not the best at it, but I'm definitely probably the oldest one that has it, that's talking about it, that has this kind of celebrity to leverage. I'm just giving myself a shot right now. So. But
you were diagnosed with diabetes, to your point, at the age of 15. Can you tell us about the experience of carrying this disease at such a young age, and how your outlook has changed over the course of time?
Well, my perspective on that was this. the symptoms, I didn't know what they were. I was losing weight, dehydrated, urinating. So I just basically thought I was going to die. I thought that I had something else. I thought I had like AIDS or something that was terminal. So I was afraid to go to the doctor. And, finally, when I was almost like, couldn't move, my mom's made me go to the doctor. And when they told me it was diabetes, I was celebrating. It was like, because I felt bad for so long, for like 2 months. It was like, if I could just be able to live again, and me thinking that I was going to have to check out so young, just sticking a needle in my leg and I felt better, for me, was like a second chance on life. So I kind of celebrated diabetes. And to this day, that's what I've been doing. So it was like, I have a second chance, almost in my brain, it was something worse. And God was like, I'll make it diabetes. So, we'll have a common ground. So I was just appreciating the fact that I could live, and that the cards that, God dealt me weren't as bad as it could be. So it's almost like, I think if someone were to catch corona right now, and, a person that didn't appreciate breathing, if someone, got on your lungs, and then all of a sudden just breathing was priceless to you. Once you can breathe again, while you're sick, you're like, I wish I could have did this, that, and the third. And once you get that back, you probably live life a little more to the fullest. So it was like a gift and a curse in that way for me. So everything great I've done while I was diabetic.
How has that been like managing while being in the hip hop industry?
I mean, it's my normal. I don't know life without it. So, just like now, I just, the thing about diabetes is it's a long-term situation. So I've never really felt any of the effect of it. I've never had any complications. And I've always, people just had to get used to me sticking a needle in my leg. I think what's different now is that I wasn't testing my blood as much when I was younger. You know what I mean? I didn't really see the importance in it until I got, into my 20s. So after I started to test my blood, it's just something that you put into your lifestyle. I just don't know other way. I don't know any other way. Maybe, again, it's a gift and a curse, because I've never been an adult without diabetes. So I don't know what life would look like. Like, it's like, you don't have diabetes? Like, that's bugged out to me that people don't have it. You know what I mean? So I've never looked at it as a burden. It's like going to the bathroom,
I saw a podcast between you and Jeff, and Jeff referred to it as diabadass. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. You got to be a rock star to be a diabetic, a proud one. An unapologetic diabetic is a rock star. And because you have to take care of yourself or your diabetes, by default, you take care of everything else. So a conscious diabetic is usually just in good shape. But you want to be in good shape anyway, whether you have diabetes or not. So, again, like before I did this, the first thing I had to do was run my mile and hit the bag. It's like, I'm vain. I'm not trying to get, soggy as I get older, but also I know how important it is for me as a diabetic to make sure I work out every day. So, it's about investing in your future. See, the thing about diabetes, and the reason why, like, a guy like me and Jeff, it works for us, is because to be an entrepreneur, you have to visualize the future. So, most diabetics, or ones that aren't conscious, they don't visualize really getting a limb cut off. They can't visualize, having their kidneys breaking down and turning colors and all that kind of thing. They can't visualize it. But guys like us, we can see the good and we can see the bad. And, there's always a path to get where you want to go. But not where you want to go, not everyone chooses the same path. So you have to find which path you should go to get there, and that's what you do. What do I have to go? What path am I going to take to go and look good when I'm older, to be healthy and still enjoy living when I'm older? I'm going to take the healthy path, the conscious path. I'm going to test my blood. I'm going to work out. I'm not going to eat meat. I'm going to do all the things that it takes so that my future looks good. My company is my family. I'm the boss of that. And that means I have to care more about them than myself. So that means I have to make sure I'm all right so I don't become a burden to them. I would never want to see them have to take care of me, or have to be sad over me, or have to feel sorry over me. I have too much pride for that.
Absolutely. In terms of managing, what do you do between doctor's appointments? Are there any workouts, recipes, or routines you live by to keep yourself on track?
I'm actually a pretty, as conscious as I'm sounding, I'm reckless. I'm a rock star, so I still drink and smoke weed and all that. And that means I'm not fasting as much. So, I'm munching. So I'm always, when I'm not partying, it's way easier to control, because you're not munching. I think being able to fast, like know when you're eating and not eating, will really put you and regulate you. You know what I mean? But that's not me in this moment. Sometimes it is, but my A1 is still a 7, but like a 7.8 right now. But the thing is, I know it. It's funny, like I go to the doctor and like I went to the doctor for my eyes. And, you got to also make sure you don't want to go through the needle in the eye. It's like inevitable. Your eyes are going to be fucked up. Pardon my language, are going to be messed up. And you don't want to have to deal with all that. The needle in the eye, I'd be like, nah, not the needle in the eye. But I was going to the doctor and he was just so shocked that, I knew my blood sugar and I was under control and, the things, they're shocked, just because you can live an erratic lifestyle and still have some kind of maintaining rather. You know what I mean? So the answer is, the one thing I do every day is I work out, at least every other day. Or, I might work out 3 days and take 2 days off. Sometimes I work 5 days. Depends on how my body feels. I usually start the day off with just drinking water. I drink water. Like right now, I haven't eaten breakfast yet, and I've been up since 7. I just drank water till about 12. You know what I mean? But to be honest, it's crazy because, there's a time in the day when I first get up that for no reason, my shit just spikes. I don't understand that. And I'm like, I don't even eat anything. So there's also a time in the day I have to look and make sure that, I'm not spiking for no reason. I take this. I just took this as my long lasting. I use this and I use a Frezza. When I'm smoking, I can't use a Frezza so much because it hurts my lungs. But I use this one when when I'm eating carbs because the carbs kick in later and this will last more where a Frezza will leave your body. So it's like a combination of a lot of different things. I use the 1 drop to test my blood. I use the Dexcom, but the Dexcom, and I've been doing this because I think everyone should know the Dexcom don't be correct all the time. So when they say, you don't have to calibrate it, you do have to calibrate it. So when I went to the doctor and I'm looking at, my A1, according to the Dexcom, I'm a 7.2 according to or 7.3. According to the doctor, I'm at 8.3. I'm like, that's a whole point off. So, I'm pissed off because I would have adjusted if I had to. So, you have to test your blood every day or every other day, at least when you have a Dexcom. So that's where the 1 drop comes into play. You know what I mean? My son's talking up a storm over there. I'm like, he's talking. It's crazy. He's 3 months old. He really be talking, man. It's crazy.
He's participating. I love it.
He does. When he hears me talk, he talks.
I want to make sure I'm taking some questions from the chat too. It looks like someone has asked, when did you start spreading the word about diabetes and how to overcome it? Did you have an aha moment or did it naturally come to you as progress in your career over the time of meeting people?
It's crazy because I've always been relatively transparent about everything in my life. I think people started listening about 5-6 years ago, and, platforms like social media didn't exist when I was younger. So I couldn't showcase my life like that. But what happened was I was just showing myself doing what I do. I think when I was testing my blood and taking a shot, and I just got a really overwhelming response, and from there, I think, Mike from Mankind knocked at my door and was like, we just started to really talk about expanding and bringing awareness through me, making diabetes as cool as it really is. Mike introduced me to Jeff. And at the time, Jeff had just started a year prior to, and I was really impressed at what he had done in a year since he found out he was diabetic. You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn, he found he was diabetic 1 year and invented a tester and test strips the next. It was, it was kind of crazy. So, we've always had a friendship through the entrepreneurship and spirit, but also through the diabetes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 2 things. Like I said, the one thing about a diabetic that takes care of himself, he takes care of everything else in his life too. You know what I mean? He's very forward thinking and very unapologetic about beliefs and fearless. You got to be fearless, So there was no win or aha moment. There was an aha moment when it was like, yo, you better test your blood. You know what I mean? And that was like, it was like for me, because diabetes is also an expensive disease. It's 24 hours and you have to buy things for it. You basically like buying gas to a car. You know, we run on gas, which is insulin. And, you know, it was like when I was first building Rockefeller, it was like as soon as I get that right, then I got to get my health right. So as soon as I made that money and I had $1 million in the bank, that's when I paid to learn and get, like at one time I was ridiculous. Like I had people, basically a chef that would bring my food. So I knew exactly what what the carbs were in it. Like I was using my money to really take care of myself, but it was just, that was becoming more of a headache than taking care of myself, is having the support. So I had to figure out how to do it with the least intrusive way. Really, I found a good wife, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what eliminated a lot of that. You know, your wife has to become, or your partner has to become type 3 because it changes their lifestyle as well. So we call them type 3 diabetics, you know, and Rocky has accommodated, you know, her life to make sure mine is all right. So, you know, it comes with sacrifice from the people around you as well.
Yeah, having a support system is important.
Very important in life in general. I mean, what you give, you get. So if you're being a real man or a real adult or a real wife and giving the love, then your partner should be giving it back. What's wrong with him? Oh, he's just talking? He's just beefing. You need a diaper? Like he talks. It's like really crazy. It's that curriculum we teaching him is nuts.
How has your experience with managing diabetes shifted, especially during COVID?
I mean, I was on it. To me, it was like, because I've been talking about being healthy for so long, and just like I've been talking about getting residual income for so long, when COVID hit, it was like, I told y'all to be healthy right now. You don't want your insides all inflamed. You're more susceptible to catching any disease or infection. So really, you know, being type 1, you know, it's crazy because in LA, as far as priority, they're going to let type 2 diabetics that are overweight get it before type 1, you know, because if you're a healthy type 1, you're not really as exposed. If you're not healthy and you're not taking care of yourself, you're exposed, from what I understand, you know. So, you know, if you're out of control or you type 2, it's because you're not eating right. That means you might need that shot before. You know. So I was already on point about that. I was actually just starting to say, yo, just please, y'all, it makes sense now at least. You know, if you weren't worried about the long-term effect, worry about the fact that if you're not in control now, you might sneeze and die. You know, you don't want to do that alone.
I'm going to take a question from the chat here. It says, you've been successful across a bunch of different industries. What are the common elements that led to success?
Fearlessness, dreaming, you know, wanting to do something that nobody else can, and knowing that I could, and having that inspire me to where it doesn't feel like work, you know. So it's just like playing a video game to me. You know, I like it. I do things that inspire me. I wouldn't do something and get paid for it that I wouldn't do for free. You know what I mean? So it's fearlessness and also patience. No business happens overnight. You know, learning from battles. You know, instead of calling them losses, you got to make sure they're learning experiences. You can lose a battle, you just got to win the war. You learn from the battle, then it's a W, not a loss. As long as you win the war, but you got to know what your war is. You have to understand your dream so you know when you have it, how to live it. Because I knew how to know what my dream was, and I had to know what it looks like when I'm living it. So I got to see everything through. So if you're an entrepreneur, you just got to see things through in the future, from A to Z, the specifics, everything. From what the money looked like, but from to also what the feeling looked like, what the day looked like, what you want your existence to look like 24/7. You know, I've architected all of that.
So we know that racial disparities in healthcare mean many things, including that Black men and women are treated differently from whites in the U.S. healthcare system. What, if at all, has your experience been with this, and how have you managed to conquer these hurdles to achieve them and achieving such a positive, impactful management of your diabetes?
You know, the way to deal with racism, for me, is always just to be the boss and have that bread so you can fire somebody. You know what I mean? And I'm in a position of first generation money. I know how it felt before I could pay for something and pay for the best and after, you know? And it ain't no racial discrimination when I got that bank. You know, you're going to do what I say. I'm going to get the best because I'll pay for it. And at that level, color doesn't even matter. It's kind of funny. So, you know, if I walk into somebody's house and I feel they're being prejudiced, and I've done this, I'm going to buy your house and it's mine now, and I'm going to kick you out. And that's how I deal with racism. You know, if I feel you racist in the business, either I become your competition and put you out of business, or I buy your business and I fire you. You know, I've done that before.
Yeah, if you don't like it, get rid of it, right?
Yeah, I don't let nobody treat me away. I treat you away. You know, it's the narrative. I'm not like waiting for someone to give me something. I don't feel entitled. You know, I'd rather take if you're not being polite. You know, I like the humble bullies.
I'm seeing so many positive comments. Yes, preach. We love to hear it. Team is so excited to have you on with us today. These were all the questions that we had kind of pre-populated and really wanted to share. Sam, anything for us? Anything else that you wanted to add for us?
Well, you know, the one thing I've been on lately is just dream big. I'm noticing because, you know, I like people that are very intelligent, experienced, you know, at one thing, and they get, you know, really complacent. And I'll be like, yo, what's your dream? And that's the hardest thing for people to do, is really dream big. Dream like, you know, I'm not going to say selfish, but dream for yourself so you do so well that you can help the people you love, and be selfish about that and only the people you love. But if you don't have a dream, you ain't got nothing to live for, you know? And dreams don't cost $1. So why would they be little? You know, just dream big. Why dream small? And, you know, if you want to make money doing something, like I said, make money doing something you love. You have to turn your dream into your job, and then it never feels like work. You know, again, this is why I'm really good friends, and he's not black. I just fuck with Jeff. You know, I like Jeff because he gonna figure it out and do it I seen him flip a company very fast. You know, a dream. That wasn't his job, but he turned his dream into his job, and his dream has a really nice office. You know what I'm saying? These are our dreams, period. Like, I ain't getting paid to talk to y'all today. I would take people do pay me to talk. I talk for free. I like talking. You know what I mean? So find what you love, something that you would do for free, especially when it's something that helps other people. And understand that if you like dreaming about a 2-seater car and you got kids and a family, wrong dream. You know what I'm saying? Wrong dream. You know, dream about what makes you happy and the people you love happy, but make yourself happy. Unless you know how to love yourself, you ain't really gonna know how to love nobody else. You know? And if you're gonna have a child with someone you want to be with forever. It's harder alone. You know what I mean? It is. It's way better when it's two people that love each other and they're both supporting each other. I've been through both, and if I wouldn't experience this, I would have missed nothing I'd done would have meant anything unless I would have called. Everything I've done was for this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to mess it up by having high blood sugar, you know, or do something karmically that's going to get me jammed up. I'm just going to continue to love as much as possible. And that's what usually protects you. Love, you know, but don't let nobody, just because you love don't mean somebody could take something from you. Love ain't going to, you know, you always got to make sure you hit back when somebody hits though. Don't get it twisted. That's how I look at things.
What's the saying? Love wins.
Love always wins, though. If you're fighting for love, you're going to win that fight. You win that war. It might look like you're losing the battle. You learn from it, but you'll win the war. Love will always take you where you got to go. You just got to be patient with it. You know, love doesn't happen overnight. You got to show love. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You don't say love. You show love.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.